Okay, welcome. This is going to be Prac 6. So the whole idea of Prac 6 is we're going to look at binomial calculations and normal calculations. So let's first of all start with binomial calculations. So just to remember, binomial is where we have the bins, the binary, independent, fixed sample size, and constant probability. And the whole idea is you've got trials, you've got a fixed number of trials, and for each trial you have success or failure. So, don't do these in SPIP6. You can do them on your scientific calculator, but in case you don't have it, I'm going to show you how to do it in Excel. So, first of all, here's my adapt as Excel, so we'll double click on that and get that going. So, once that comes up, let's have a look at what we need to do in here. So once you're in Excel, we're going to basically use the functions, and the functions we're going to get it to do binomial. And with the binomial, there's a single command you're going to need, binom_dist. Okay, so any second now that will come up, and then we can start looking at how to do it. Okay, so here's Excel. So we can choose any cell. I'll choose A1, and if you click on Insert Function, you'll get this dialog box. And the first thing you should do is choose Statistical. And then if you move down here, there should be one called binom_dist. So once you've selected that, you click OK. And there are 4 boxes. This is the number of successes you have. This is the number of trials. This is the probability of success for each trial. And then you have this cumulative, where you're either going to put true if you want to do cumulative. So that's whenever you want to do less than or equals. Or you put false if you ever just want to do equals in there. Okay, so now you've got the idea. Let's look at some questions that we could do. So we are given down here, we're going to toss a fair coin 10 times. What is the probability of no heads, 3 or less heads, at least 1 head, between 1 and 3 heads inclusively? Now, remember, each time I want you to think about these diagrams. So if I ask you to just work out the probability that x equals something, so it's just the orange box, then you will set the cumulative equals to false, or as a shortcut, you can just put 0. Well, on this side, if you want less than or equals, then you set cumulative equal to 1, because cumulative is adding up all the ones that are less than or equal. It's accumulating them. Okay, so we've got a fair coin 10 times. What is the probability? So let's go to here and we'll go let x be the number of heads when toss a fair coin 10 times. So what does this mean? It means that x has a distribution. Remember, the tilde means has a distribution. It's binomial, and a binomial needs 2 parameters to identify it. We need to know the number of trials. In this case, we're told 10 because we're tossing the coin 10 times. And also, we need to know the probability of success. So what's the probability if I toss a coin of getting a head? It's a half, so just put 0.5. So there we are. That is our distribution. So already we have 2 of the numbers to put in our dialog box. We've got the probability, which is 0.5, and the number of trials, which is 10. So what's the first question? The first question says no heads. So let's think about what this means in probability notation. That means the probability that, remember we put brackets, so you read this as the probability of whatever's in the brackets, and what we've got in the brackets, we've got no heads. Well, another way of saying that is that x, which is the number of heads, equals 0. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So we know that when we go back here, we know that the number of heads, the successes, is 0. We know the number of trials is 10. We know the probability of success is 0.5. So the question we have to do is, are we doing less than or equals or equals? So if we go back here, we're saying it's equal. Notice it's equals to 0. So because it's equals, we know that if we go back to this, because we're doing equals, it's going to be 0 or false. Either is fine. So we're going to go back here and we're going to type in false. And it automatically puts the number there. But if you click OK, there it is. There's your answer. So we can first of all, I mean, it's nice to leave it this. We could do the decimal places and round that down. So we could actually click on this and just do it to 4 decimal places. They use 4 decimal places. And we can copy that. Now I can go back to Word and go equals. Now, remember if this was my son, I want people to know that I knew how to do it. So I would go binom.dist. And what were the numbers I did in the binom.dist? Well, let's look up here. Here's all the stuff. In fact, I could just copy and paste this. Could have just copied and paste like that, which equals, and there was my answer. So the nice thing is I've written the probability notation here. I've also shown my working. I showed the Excel command that I need, and I've given the answer to 4 decimal places. Cool. Let's keep going. What's next one? 3 or less heads. So what's that in the notation? That's the probability that, so X is less or equal. I'll just highlight that and get rid of the bold. Less than or equal to 3. So, to be less than or equal to 3, well, you could write that in full. That's the probability that X equals 0 plus X equals 1 plus probability that X equals 2 plus the probability that X equals 3. Other than the fact I got my brackets wrong, that looks good. So to be less or equal to 3, I could be either 0, 1, 2, or 3. So you could add all these up or accumulate them all up, or you could just do that in a single command. So let's go back to here. Let's put it in a new one. So we're going to hit FX. We're going to do statistical. I'm going to binom.dist. OK. So the number is now 3, 10, 0.5. But this time, if you think about it, I want to add up all of these. In fact, this is the one less than or equal to 3. Bit of a coincidence. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's what we want. So we set cumulative equals to 1. Or that is equivalent to typing in true. There's the answer. Click OK. I can now move that to the right number of decimal places. And we will copy that. And we will copy that. Go back here. So go along to the end. Equals. That. I've got 2 equals. Let's get rid of that. And finally, we can give the answer equals that. So, lovely. I've got the probability notation. So I took the problem and wrote it as the probability of what's in the brackets, which is X is less than or equal to 3. So X is the number of heads. It's less than or equal to 3. Then I wrote it out in full to show I understand what that is. Then I gave the Excel command, and then I gave the answer. Lovely. let's have a look at the next question. At least one head. So at least one head means one head or more. So we want the probability that x is greater than or equal to 1. Now, if you think about it, that means that we've either got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. And I can write all that down. But actually, the nice thing is instead, you can actually simplify this for you, as we covered in the lectures, by going this is 1 minus probability that x equals 0. Much easier way of doing it. So the probability of 1 or more, because all the probabilities of all the outcomes, which is 0, 1, 2, all the way up to 10, add up to 1, then I can get this. Or if you think about the probability, this is almost like the probability of not being at least 1 or more, which is that you get exactly 0. Well, that's really nice because we've already calculated that here. So I can just basically go that equals 1 minus this. And there's the answer. Or if you want to do it in more fine terms, you can say it equals 1 minus binom dist binom dot dist, where you've got 0, 10, 0.5, 0, or to be more precise, false. And then if I round that down to 4 decimal places, there's the answer. So let's copy that. And then copy the actual answer, which equals that. Done. So again, wrote what I wanted, simplified it, gave the Excel command, gave the answer. All lovely. So the final one, between 1 and 3 heads inclusively. So what do I actually want? I want the probability that 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 3. So basically, I want the probability that x equals 1, plus the probability x equals 2, plus the probability x equals 3. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that. The easiest way is you can go, well, what I could do here is I can get all the probability that x is less than or equal to 3. But the problem is that includes 0 as well. So if we remove off x equals 0, that will get us the answers, because this number will be the probability that x is 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. If I remove the probability that x equals 0, what's left is the probability that x is 1 or 2 or 3. Easy. So let's go and do that. Get a new one. We're going to do equals binom dist. Okay. So we're going to do 3, 10, 0.5, and true. Okay. And then we can go and actually take off the binom dot dist 0, 10, 0.5, false. And there's our answer. Again, reduce that to our right number of places. Let's calculate that. Take that. Go paste, which equals, and copy that. And there we go. So, all done.